What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of 90 Day Fiance The Other Way, Season 6, Episode 5, High Infidelity. So I guess we have to get started with Shekinah and Sarper. Y'all, I'm over Shekinah and Sarper because watching them on 90 Day Fiance, what was it? The other, I think was it I don't even know. Whatever franchise it was that we were first introduced to them, I was really over Shekinah and Sarper because I'm not understanding at all why Shekinah is with someone like Sarper. I'm just not understanding at all. Of course, he is. He just reeks of being a womanizer. He is borderline like mentally abusive towards Shekinah. I will never forget how he took that lollipop out of her mouth, how he yanked it out of her mouth and threw it on the ground when they were at the gym. That to me was an indication that he's not stable. This man is absolutely not stable. For him to do something like that on camera and not give a damn that other people saw this, that the whole world saw this, and just to not care that he did something so unbelievably aggressive, short of hitting her. Like if he could have hit her, if he really wanted to go there, he would have gone there. Um, he would have put his hands on her, and I just don't understand why she's with them. And so, talking about them and talking about their issues and their problems to me is absolutely pointless because Shekinah shouldn't even be with this person. She shouldn't even be with him. He's so manipulative. He is, like I said, like borderline mentally abusive towards her, and she sticks up for this man and she defends this man. So here we are now where she has decided to, well, she hasn't really decided to move to Turkey. She is visiting him. She's basically just visiting him in Turkey. I don't think she has any plans on living there because she talked about getting the K1 visa in last week's episode and having them come and live in America, but he said he really wasn't feeling moving to America. So I think her ultimate goal, if she decides to stay with him, is to get them back to America. So she really doesn't have any intentions of living in Turkey, but here we are. So they go out to dinner with Sarper's cousin, and she already knew that he was a counter because like he likes to count things. We obviously know he likes to count how many people he's been with. He kept a record of that. He's like obsessed with numbers and counting and keeping track of things. So we already know about his 2,500 conquests. And then Shekinah was talking about how, she missed him, how they missed each other. And he had counted down to the hours of how long they had been apart since the last time she was in Turkey. So he's a counter. He likes to count. And the cousin says, well, he's been like this ever since he was younger. There was a point in his adult life where he stopped counting and keeping track of things in that way. But when he was a child, yes, he was definitely a counter. So then they talk about his childhood, and Sarper talks about how when he was in high school, ever since he was a young boy, I guess up until high school or whatever, he was very overweight. He says he was like in excess of 260 pounds. They showed pictures of him, and yeah, he had some weight on him, and I guess this affected his self-esteem. Anyway, he ends up getting his very first girlfriend, and I guess he was really in love with this girl. And this girl ends up breaking his heart. He catches her one day walking down the street with another guy, holding hands, being all lovey-dovey. And ever since then, I guess he had sworn to himself that he would never fall in love again, that he had to be super duper what's the word, careful, I guess, with women. And she kind of made a comment about how, well, I guess that particular incident shaped how you viewed women and how you treated women. And like, he doesn't really want to get close to women. He doesn't really want to open up his heart to a woman, and women are just there for him to use. So she kind of says that some of Sarper's exes have reached out to her, and they basically want to tell her what they went through with Sarper, how Sarper had hurt them, and they want to basically warn her about him. And the cousin tells her Don't give them any energy. Don't give them any of your time, because whatever they went through, it had nothing to do with Sarper. It was whatever they were battling within themselves. The cousin said this, who was a female, right? But again, Sarper is her cousin, and I can definitely understand why she would want to stand up and defend her cousin. So she's telling Shekinah, don't pay any attention to them. They're just jealous. They're just upset that Sarper didn't want to be with them. And so now they're going to try to ruin your relationship with him. Sarper, of course, agrees with the cousin. So they're in this restaurant where there's a belly dancer, and the belly dancer comes and she dances for Sarper, or she dances at their table, and she's very close to Sarper. So Shekinah gets hella jealous, and she's like telling the dancer, which is her job to do this, to go up to the patrons and, dance near them so she can make some money, make some tips. So Shekinah tells the dancer to basically go away. She's basically like shooing her away and telling her, oh, you're getting too close. That's my man. That's my man. That's my man. Move back. You're too close. Go away. And Sarper's like, this is like, what are you doing? This is her job. But Sarper was eating that up. The fact that she was exhibiting, all of this jealousy. And the cousin was looking at Shekinah like, what is wrong with you? Like, don't you understand this is what happens in these type of restaurants? This is what we do in Turkey. The belly dancers will come and they'll dance on you and you're supposed to tip them. So that was, I thought, extremely embarrassing. I mean, I was like embarrassed for Shekinah because this is what they do. This is their job. It's okay. But I guess maybe if you think that your man is can't be trusted, like you feel like you really can't trust him, and you feel like he'll chase anything with a heartbeat, I can see why she was getting concerned. Moving on from there, so Shekinah is planning on meeting with a woman named Nur, who was one of Sarper's exes. Nur reached out to her, I guess, wanted to meet with her so she can warn Shekinah about Sarper. So she's in the house getting ready, and Sarper's like, what are you getting ready for? And she says, I'm going to meet up with one of your exes. She wants to talk to me, and I'm willing to talk to her. I'm willing to listen. And Sarper is like, no, I will not allow you to go meet with her. And Shekinah's like, I'm not going to let you not allow me to go meet with her. So she ends up meeting up with Nur. They meet up at a cafe. And, oh, by the way, Sarper tells her, don't believe anything she says because you don't understand Turkish women. Turkish women have a tendency to over exaggerate. So don't believe anything that she tells you. Okay, typical. So she meets up with Nur, and Nur lays it out for her. She tells her that her and Sarper dated for about 3 to 4 months. They've been on a dating app. And he told her that he loved her. He told her that she was the very first woman that he's ever said, I love you to. And they told each other they loved each other all the time. And when Shekinah is hearing this, you can tell that she's like deeply affected. Even though she thought she had her game face on and she thought that she wasn't showing any emotion, it was clear as day to me that she was affected by what this woman was telling her. Because Sarper had told her that he loved her, and that she was the first woman that he's ever said those words to, that she was the first woman that he's ever had these feelings for. So Nur is basically telling her, he was telling me that he loved me and, had all these feelings for me, etc. Now, what caused Nur and Sarper to break up was that she had found another woman's clothing or items in his apartment, and he tried to manipulate her and gaslight her into thinking that, she was delusional, he wasn't cheating, so on and so forth. And that's what was the I guess, the final straw for her, was the fact that, he was cheating on her. And then she ended up breaking up with him. So Shekinah has a lot to think about. So now I'm thinking, Shekinah, all this evidence that you have against Sarper, the 2,500 women that he's been with in the past, the fact that he doesn't really treat you well, like he does the thing. He's like, he's got those abuser tendencies where he'll yell at you and scream at you and be really mean to you, be really horrible to you. And then he comes back, with his tail in between his legs, very sheepishly begging for your forgiveness, saying that he's sorry. He doesn't know what overcame him. He'll never act like that again. He really, really loves you with all of his heart. He can't live without you. Typical abusive type of pattern. The pattern of an abuser, where they abuse you in whatever way. It doesn't necessarily have to be physical. They lose control with you in some way, and then they come back and they're all apologetic and they want you to give them another chance, which she has done plenty of times. He's extremely controlling her weight, how she dresses, her hair, how she looks. And now his exes are reaching out, trying to tell you, you're making a mistake. because Nur was like, I just want to let you know what it's like with him so that you can save yourself the heartache that the rest of us have gone through. So I'm not even sure if Shekinah is paying attention. You can tell that what she said affected her, right? But is it going to affect her enough to value herself enough and to get away from this guy? I don't know. And that's the reason why I cannot stand to talk about Shekinah and Sarper, because all the stuff that she went through in the previous season of 90 Day Fiance, and she still stayed. Him yanking that lollipop out of her mouth, that would have been enough. That would have been, I would have reached the end of my patience with him with that alone. Because I'm thinking if he can do something like that in front of other people, on camera, on a television show, he could do a whole lot worse. Next thing you know, he's going to be yanking your teeth out of your mouth. So I don't know if Shekinah is paying attention to all of these things that are adding up, that Sarper is just not that guy for you. Moving on to Corona and Inky. So Corona has arrived in Iceland. She's really excited. And at the airport, Inky comes to pick her up, and he comes with flowers, right? So I was like, okay, good. At least he came with flowers, because some of these people come empty-handed. So he came with flowers, which I was, I gave him like a point for that. And when they hugged and kissed, it was a little bit underwhelming for Corona. It wasn't a lot of affection and emotion from Inky. She said that it felt like he was kissing his grandmother. Like there's no passion. It wasn't like, oh my God, you've been gone for so long and I've missed you so much. Compare their reunion to James, not James. Is it James? Yeah, James and Matalia's reunion. Completely different night and day. So she was like, she didn't understand. She didn't understand, like, why is he lacking in passion? He's not excited to see me. He's very blasé. So they get to the apartment, and she's upset because he didn't clear out the closet for her stuff. He didn't make any room for her stuff. And she tells us how one of her pet peeves, or one of her triggers, is when someone promises you that they're going to do something and they don't deliver. So she said the old Corona would have ripped him a new one, but she's a new and improved Corona, and she does this, what does she call it, gentle partnering or something, where she has to take a step back, take a deep breath, and be really calm about the things that would otherwise send you over the edge. So she didn't make a big deal about the fact that he didn't make enough space in the closet for her stuff, and his behavior with her is like strange and awkward, and like he doesn't act like, I mean, I don't see any chemistry between these two people. I don't know what's going on between Corona and Inky. I see no chemistry between them. She's super excited to be there with him. She's excited to see him. He's the one that's kind of like, I don't know if he's confused. I don't know if he's unsure about the situation. But this woman walked away from her life in America to come live in Iceland with him. And I'm just thinking, what was it, Corona, that made you feel like you could leave your life behind for this guy? Like, what? How did he act beforehand? What did he say to you? What made you think that this is what he wanted as well? That he wanted this as much as you do? So I don't understand if these people are like just actors for the show. And they're supposed to be like the couple that are very unmatched, and I don't know what's going on, but Corona and Inky, it's just, so far it's a big no for me. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're a real couple, or if they're just actors just putting on, but I don't understand. I don't see what she sees in him that would make her want to leave everything behind, including her education, because she's learning to be, or training to be a midwife, or studying to be a midwife. Leave all of that behind to start completely over in Iceland with this man. I don't get it. Let's move on to Josh and Lily. So Lily says she has a headache. So they're going for a head massage and ear massage. She's going to be getting the head massage, and Josh is going to get the ear massage. So they get to the massage parlor, and the masseuse, I guess, I don't know, she starts off by like running a feather like across his ear, or touching his ear with a feather, and all kinds of stuff. And then she gets down to the nitty gritty, where she actually takes this long, like super long Q-tip, and begins to dig into his ear, and she's got tweezers, and she's like really going ham, inside his ear. And she was like literally cleaning out his ear, and it was disgusting to me, because of the fact that they showed the earwax that she was pulling out of his ear. And I'm like, why do y'all have to show this? We get the gist of it. We understand what cleaning the ear means. We don't have to see evidence of it. It was really gross to me. So after they get done with their massages, Lily brings up, now this is a peaceful environment. You know, you're getting massages, the lights are dim, you're supposed to be very relaxed, very zen. But here she comes bringing up the whole traditional Chinese wedding issue. So out of nowhere, she tells him that the Chinese wedding was his idea. And in her confessional, I think it was, I don't know, both of them are telling us that, hey, I don't understand why they don't remember when they told me that they wanted to have a traditional Chinese wedding. They're both saying that, right? So she brings up to him once again how it was his idea, not hers. And he tells her, well, we're just going to have to agree to disagree on that because he claims it was her idea, not his. And so then he says to her, it doesn't matter whose idea it was. The point is, you don't have to spend a lot of money for it, which is what you're doing. And I know that you're working really hard for your money to pay for all this stuff. I totally get it. I totally understand. I would love to contribute as much as I can. You know, as soon as I'm able to work, I want to start working. I want to provide for you, blah, blah, blah. And she says to us and also to him, she says, you know, that she loves him so much. And because she loves him, she can't help but to show her love through spending money on him. That's how she shows her, how she expresses her love for him. It's by spending all this money. That's what love means to her. I wonder if she's expecting him to have the same ideology. I wonder if she's expecting him to prove his love by spending a lot of money on her. Okay. And then she tells in their confessional, she says, no, he says to her, Josh tells her that every love story should have a happy ending. And she thought he meant happy ending like in the massage parlor world definition of what a happy ending is. And he was like, no, that's not what I mean. I mean like a real, true happy ending. That was kind of funny. Josh and Lily, they can be funny when they want to. Let's talk about Matalia and James. So Matalia is waiting for James to arrive in Indonesia before they tell her parents that they're planning on living in Indonesia, not just visiting. So her parents up to this point think that they're just visiting. So the mom is acting really sad because she's saying to her daughter, you know, I'm getting older and I want you to be around me as I'm getting older because I want you to be there to take care of me. And it's really hard for me that you live so far away. I want you to stay here. Little does she know that Matalia does intend on staying. So I'm assuming that the mom is going to be really happy and excited when she finds out that Matalia and James do plan on staying in Indonesia. So we're watching them, her and her parents are working in the little banana factory that they have. And I guess my idea of what banana chips were is completely different from what they actually are in Indonesia. I was like envisioning like actual banana chips, like, you know, bananas that have been dehydrated and put in a baggie and you crunch on them like chips. But this is like a whole entire different thing. It's almost like a type of candy with a variety of flavors and toppings and coatings and stuff. So it's like a real business, not like a little you know, what you do out of your house, because they have like a food factory where they make all of these banana chips in like major quantity. So this is where the parents are telling her, we wish that you would stay, and you know, we want you to have children, lots and lots of children. And you know, Matalia, whenever this is the subject of them having children is brought up, you know, she gets uncomfortable because she's not sure if James wants to have children. He really hasn't been that clear with her, like that he does really want to have kids. Now he's told other people that he really doesn't plan on having children. That's not really in his future. So I don't know. So James finally arrives in Indonesia. She and her sister go pick him up from the train station, and their greeting, their reunion was, like I said, night and day from Corona and Inky. You know, they couldn't get enough of each other. The way that they hugged and kissed and all the things that they said about, they could not get enough of each other. So y'all, it just made me really question, like, what is the real deal between Corona and Inky? So that's my review. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later.